The hopes and dreams of the Philadelphia Phillies have been crushed by, dare I say, the modern-day miracle Mets. The Mets have been on an absolute tear. They feel like a team of destiny, and they just crushed the hopes and dreams of a team that had so much optimism in the Philadelphia Phillies. They won the division. They were supposed to go far. Nobody was supposed to stop them until they were stopped by the Mets. So I'll break that down and much more in this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. What's up, everybody? Welcome into 3 Up, 3 Down. I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, and today we're going to be breaking down the disappointing end to the season for the Philadelphia Phillies. I just cannot understand how a team that talented, with everything working in their favor, having had the bye, having had everything that they needed to go deep in the playoffs, just bow out like that. But before we break it all down, I want to let you know that around 97% of you who are watching these videos are not subscribed. So go ahead, hit that sub button. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, and it helps me out a ton. So go ahead and do that for me. I'd really appreciate it. And let's get straight into it here. The Mets once trailed the Phillies by 17.5 games in the standings this season. Tonight, they eliminated the Phillies in the NLDS. And being a Philly fan in the past 24 months, not very heart-friendly. Let's just put it that way. So in 2022, the Phillies blow a 2-1 World Series lead against the Astros. In 2023, the Eagles blow a second-half lead in the Super Bowl. The Sixers blow Game 6 and Game 7 to the Celtics. Phillies blow Game 6 and 7 in the NLCS. Eagles start 10-1. They crash and burn. Then the Sixers lose to the Knicks in the first round in 2024. And the Phillies, of course, losing to the Mets last night, and their season coming to a painful end. There was so much optimism. There were so many people picking the Phillies to go all the way, and not many people had much faith in the Mets, especially not considering that they played a doubleheader the day before the wild card round started. Now, they just feel like a team of destiny right now. They were one of the hottest teams in the league down the stretch of the season, and they had to sustain that level of play all the way throughout, or else they would not be where they are right now. So credit to the Mets, man. They just kept chipping away. They kept being a team that was counted out, that was not expected to do anything, and it didn't end up mattering. It really didn't. So all the credit has to go out to the Mets, and this is what Nick Castellanos had to say. He kind of echoed some of those sentiments. Do I think that they were a better team than us? No, but this series, they were, and Nick Castellanos credits the Mets for playing better than the Phillies in the NLDS. Watching Jose Iglesias unify them and get the city to buy into something bigger is nothing short of incredible. I don't know if that was Nick Castellanos that said that. Pretty weird to just shout out Jose Iglesias. Maybe he knows something that I don't on that front. But yeah, Jose Iglesias did change a little bit of the culture in that clubhouse. They all really rallied together. And Francisco Lindor is an MVP caliber player. Shohei is going to win it. Shohei deserves to win it after putting up the first ever 50-50 season in Major League Baseball history. But Francisco Lindor plays elite defense at shortstop. He steals bases. He hits for power, and yesterday had the ultimate blow, which pretty much put the nail in the coffin of the Philadelphia Phillies with that home run, the grand slam in the 8th inning to, I believe it was the 8th inning, to really propel them forward and give them a 4-1 lead, and then they didn't look back after that. The Phillies did have an opportunity in the top of the 9th inning with the bottom of the order, and Edwin Diaz looked like he was going to blow this. He lost control, and the Phillies were not able to get on base. I mean, they had 2 runners on with no outs, and then you have just terrible at-bat after terrible at-bat. Cody Clemens gone. Then you have Kyle Schwarber gone. Like, they had an opportunity to maybe scratch, claw, and fight their way back into that contest. Ultimately wasn't meant to be. And the Mets have that miracle feel about them. I referenced the miracle Mets in the introduction of this video. Maybe that might be a step too far, but they're in the NLCS for the first time in almost a decade, and they were not expected to be here. especially not after slashing some of their payroll and the way that they started the season off as well. They were the laughingstock of Major League Baseball in the first month of the year. They definitely were, and now they're playing in the National League Championship Series, and they await either the Padres or Dodgers, who are going to play a Game 5 tomorrow. So the Mets are rested. They're playing the best baseball out of anybody in the league right now, and they're facing a team that is currently involved in a bloodbath, whether that's the Padres or the Dodgers. Those teams have had to empty their bullpens. Couple of blowouts back-to-back here for them, or 2 out of the last 3 games have been blowouts in that series, so maybe the bullpens aren't as taxed as I'm making them out to be. But they're going 5. They're going the distance. Dylan Cease might have to pitch in that ball game. Yu Darvish might have to pitch in that ball game. And then on the Los Angeles side, you might have all hands on deck as well. They went with the bullpen game in Game 4. It worked out for them. But you're going to have probably Jack Flaherty available, Yoshinobu Yamamoto available. You're going to have all of those guys ready to go because your season is on the line. And the Mets are now sitting and waiting comfortably when Philly just failed. They failed miserably. And the reason why Philly doesn't get any hate is because that they've won World Series in this century. That is the only reason why they are spared from any hate or any comments directed towards them. But I think we got to start a dialogue here. The Phillies have failed for 3 postseasons in a row. And you could say that maybe getting to the World Series isn't a failure, but when you get that close and you lose, I guarantee you all the guys in that clubhouse feel like they failed. So I really think that they did fail. And this is Jared Carrabis here tweeting this out. I can't believe the Mets won. I can't believe the Phillies lost. I know that's technically the same thing, but it's not at the same time. And I get exactly what he's trying to say. If you weren't taking the Mets seriously before as a legitimate threat to win the World Series, you have to now. You've got no other choice. And I keep referencing this miracle here. I think they can get this done. And the fact that they're rested now, the fact that they can basically hit the reset button heading into the NLCS, which is a 7-game series, going to be tough with their lack of starting pitching. But you had Sean Manaea look great. You had Jose Quintana look amazing yesterday. I don't know what Kodai Senga is going to give you going forward, but just having him available to give you a couple of innings, I think that helps. You're counting outs right now. You need to get outs, as many as you can, and then just try to see it across the finish line. That is the blueprint that the Mets have been following here, and I'm excited to see what they can do, man. I'm excited to see if they can go all the way here, and I feel like nothing could stop them. That'll wrap it up for this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. I'm grossly disappointed in the Philadelphia Phillies. I really thought that this was going to be their year. Obviously, I picked the Padres to win the World Series, but the fact that Philly had, you could argue, an easier route here with the New York Mets, who have played a lot more baseball than most teams heading into the postseason, a lot more competitive baseball, I should say, and they just fell flat on their faces. The bottom of the order, nowhere to be found. The top of the order, all right, like whatever. You expect more, but they sort of did their job. But just across the board, failure for the Philadelphia Phillies. It's going to be a long offseason for them and their fan base because there was a lot of expectation heading into the postseason, having the bye, and ultimately it just didn't come to pass. Look at that. Phillies in Game 1, 2 runs. Phillies in Game 3, 2 runs. Game 4, 1 run. Just not good enough. That's not going to get it done come playoff time. Thank you to you guys for making it this far. Again, make sure to hit that sub button. A large percentage of you watching these are not subscribed, so go ahead and do that. And thank you to Baseball Town as well for sponsoring this video. They got 3 locations in Canada, so if you're not close to there, which if you're watching this, you probably aren't, but check out their website, baseballtown.ca. They're your one-stop shop for everything baseball or softball related, whether it's bats, gloves, cleats, batting gloves. They got you covered. The best equipment at the most competitive prices. You get $10 off your first order. Free shipping on everything over $99. So check them out today. And I will see you all maybe later today, maybe tomorrow. But the Tigers are looking to close it out, as are the New York Yankees. So check those games out, and I'll see you all tomorrow.